Greetings. My name is Dr. Raju Ishwaran. ACL reconstruction is a very commonly performed surgery, and this video is about the common exercises that we expect our patients to do after the surgical procedure. While doing these exercises, it is very important to note that variations may apply based on the type of graft used for your ACL reconstruction and your own surgeon's individual preference in terms of rehab. While these are broad guidelines, it must also be remembered that one must always use pain and swelling as indicators. If you have pain or an increase in swelling, it is best to rest and apply ice and wait for a few days and consult your orthopedic surgeon. One difference that you will notice in this rehab pattern is that this is a goal-bound rehab and not a time-bound rehab. For example, we don't tell you to do this at week 1, that at week 2, this at week 3 and so on. Only when you have achieved a certain set of goals do you advance in your rehab. The chief goals of phase 1 are to get the knee straight, to get the swelling down, to initiate knee bending, and to initiate quadriceps muscle contraction. Regular icing is one of the best ways to keep the swelling as well as the pain down. Keeping a small rolled towel beneath the heel and pressing down on the knee is one of the best ways to straighten the knee and to simultaneously activate the hamstrings as well. Use the visual cue that the skin at the back of the knee needs to meet the bed or the bed sheet. So this towel can be any standard towel rolled into this shape as you can see in this video, and gently press down on the knee to accomplish this movement. One can shift the same towel to below the knee, and as can be seen, pressing down on the knee is a very effective way of activating the quadriceps muscle. This can even be done without using the towel, but the addition of the towel makes this exercise more efficient. Try to use the visual cue that you are pulling your kneecap upwards by a few millimeters. It is also useful to keep the ankle and the toes pointed up. Side to side movement of the kneecap is another very useful exercise to increase the amount of knee movement. Just grab the kneecap between the thumb and the index finger as shown. Move it gently from side to side. You could also move it a bit up and down, but the up and down movement is going to be very minimal. It is the side to side movement which is going to be visually more than the up and down movement. This exercise, known as the straight leg raise, is a very good exercise for muscles around the hip as well as the muscles around the knee, particularly the quadriceps muscle. It must be done with the knee fully straight. And one common mistake while doing this exercise is to do it with the bent knee. Remember, the height with which the heel lifts off from the ground is not that important. What is more important is that the knee should be absolutely straight while doing this exercise. It is also important to start bending the knee now. As you can see, it is best to clasp both your hands with the fingers locked together at a level just above the knee at the back of the thigh. And as you lift your elbow, the knee will start bending, and initially take the knee to whatever angle it bends comfortably. It is also equally important to ensure that as you are straightening the knee, the heel should be in full contact with the couch. This is known as a close chain exercise, and it places less load on the ACL compared to a common mistake that we see known as an open chain exercise. While it may look relatively innocuous, the mere act of straightening the knee in the air produces a tremendous load across the ACL and should be strongly discouraged in this phase. Generally, with a well-fixed ACL graft of an adequate size, simple day-to-day life activities like climbing a flight of stairs, walking with putting full weight on the operated leg with or without crutches can be easily done. It is, however, wise to check with your treating surgeon what he feels the most comfortable with. You may initially need crutches for a certain length of time, but you will discover that as you recover strength in your quadriceps muscle, the dependence upon a stick or a pair of crutches gradually decreases. So what are the end points of phase 1 when you have minimum swelling in the knee, and you can easily know if your knee is swollen? In a swollen knee, as you straighten the knee, you are not likely to see the two hollows which form on either side of the kneecap. You should have a fully straight knee that again is not very difficult to see optically, and a knee that bends at least 120 degrees. Now, if you use sitting on a chair as a cue, when we sit on a chair comfortably, our knee bends at least 90 degrees. So if your knee bends a little bit beyond that point, then you know that you have around 120 degrees of knee bending. You should also have no extensor lag, and what exactly an extensor lag is, we will see in the clip that follows. A lot of people ask me whether a knee brace should be worn. I generally recommend all my patients to wear a knee brace. They can take it off intermittently as far as comfort allows. As you get more and more comfortable, you will discover that the knee brace is just an accessory. The best brace is what God has given us beneath our skin, that is the quadriceps muscle. This is an important self-test which tells you whether you're ready for phase 2. So straighten the operated leg using the other leg as a buddy as seen in this video. The ability to maintain the leg in a fully straight position is an indicator that yes, the quadriceps muscle is now strong and you are now ready for phase 2. If the knee drops by more than 5 degrees, that is known as an extensor lag, it means that you are not ready. Under no circumstances should you straighten the knee in the air like this. Always use the other leg as a buddy, because the simple act of straightening the knee in the air or open chain contraction increases the load placed on the reconstructed ACL. So what is the right time to start phase 2 exercises in your rehab? The simple answer is once you have fulfilled all the goals of phase 1 rehab. Once you have ticked all the 3 boxes, only then you are ready to start phase 2. If you do it prematurely, you are not only in for a lot of disappointment, but you are also subjecting your graft to stresses that it is not ready to accept. I like to use the analogy of a newborn baby when it comes to a newly reconstructed ACL. Just like a newborn baby needs to be protected, you need to protect the newly reconstructed ACL and only do activities that won't expose it to too much stress. As the child gets older, it needs more stimuli to grow, and similarly, after the ACL has spent some time in the knee maturing itself and remodeling itself, then you can move on to these phase 2 exercises, which place much more load on the graft than phase 1 exercises do. The double leg body weight squat is a very good exercise to promote the entire development of the lower limb. So you can use a height adjustable chair that does not have wheels as a guide for the squat depth. Initially, you use the chair at its full height to do a shallow squat. As you improve in your strength and confidence and the form, you can squat deeper and deeper. Remember that in a properly done squat, your hips are going backwards instead of the knee going forwards, so that when you're looking vertically down from the top of your knee, you can easily see all your 5 toes. The squat, being a close chain activity, does not transmit too much forces or strain across the reconstructed ACL graft and can be done safely as long as phase 1 criteria are all fulfilled. Simple step-ups done on a stable step are also a very good and easy close chain activity that can be initiated early on in phase 2 rehab. Calf raise is a great way to build calf strength and to improve overall balance. It is, however, important in the initial stages to hold on to a railing or to a wall for support. Initially, dip the heels until they are parallel with the horizontal, that is, they are at the same level as the stair or the step that you are standing on. As you gain in strength, technique and balance, you can even drop the heel down below the level of the step or below the level of the stair if you are doing it against a staircase. This exercise, known as the side lying hip abduction, is a very good exercise to strengthen the muscle on the outer side of the hip, also known as the hip abductors. So lie down on a couch on the side with the operated leg at the top and gently lift the entire lower limb as shown. As you gain strength in this exercise, you can add resistance by using a Theraloop. The same Theraloop can give you different levels of resistance depending on the distance from the hip at which it is applied. So you can get the lightest resistance by placing it, let's say, around mid-thigh or around knee level. As you improve in strength, you can slide it down to the middle of the leg, somewhere in the fleshy portion of the calf muscle. And then the same TheraBand can give you the maximum resistance when you slide it to ankle level. So the same TheraBand can be utilized to give you 3 or 4 levels of resistance depending on where it is applied in relation to the hip joint. A great closed chain core stability exercise which can be done at this phase is what is known as hip bridging, the dual leg hip bridging exercise. Essentially, you plant both your feet as shown on the couch, bend the knee to approximately 90 and lift your pelvis or your hips to such a height that your trunk and your thighs are almost parallel to each other. It also helps to improve hip flexibility. This is a wobble board. A wobble board is an unstable surface which is used to introduce balance and joint position sense known as proprioception into our rehab protocol. This again is a closed chain exercise and it can be done safely in phase 2. You must however be careful, and initially you must have people around you so that in case you fall, you have somebody to hold on to for support. But as you get more comfortable on the wobble board, you'd be surprised that you can do this exercise with your eyes open, you can do it with eyes closed, you can do it with your arms crossed, you can do it with your arms open, you can do this while catching a ball, for example, multiple ways. Single leg squat, also known as a split squat or a lunge, is slightly difficult to perform. You need to take a big step forward. You need to have good balance, good strength around the hip, good strength around the calf to do this exercise. Remember that in your descent, you must be slow, and in your ascent, you must be well balanced. You must have a soft descent. That is, the non-operated leg which touches the ground must do so in a soft manner and not in a sudden manner. And as you are rising, you must observe the same precautions as you do for a double leg squat. That is, you should be able to see all your 5 toes if you are looking at the top from the knee. Cycling, either indoors or outdoors, and swimming are 2 activities which are encouraged in phase 2 rehab. You can also do a brisk walking or maybe even a light jogging on a soft surface. But a word of caution, do not put yourself into a situation where you might have to do a rapid change in speed or a rapid change in direction, as the graft is not ready to accept sudden changes in direction or speed at this stage of the rehab. It is very important to strengthen the hamstrings as well with the TheraBand for several reasons. Hamstrings are the most commonly harvested graft sources for ACL reconstruction, and therefore it is important that we strengthen them. Also, a strong hamstring will protect the ACL graft against normal day-to-day life loading, making it very important to strengthen the hamstrings therefore. This very important exercise of seated knee extension is something which I would like to introduce in the rehab only at the very end, because unlike all the exercises that were previously shown, this is an open chain exercise and it strains the ACL graft. So most people who have had a hamstring graft harvest for their ACL reconstruction should start doing this exercise only from 3 months onwards. In case I have used a bone patellar tendon graft or a quadriceps tendon with a central patellar bone plug, I might start this exercise earlier, maybe at 1 to 1.5 months. But open chain activity should be strictly avoided in all ACL reconstructions for at least 3 months after a reconstruction has been done. The end of phase 2 of rehab is signified by 2 goals getting achieved. One is a good single leg balance, and it is always useful to compare the balance in the operated leg with the balance in the non-operated leg. Ideally, the balance time should be equal on both the sides. A minimum of 45 seconds of hold is recommended with hands either on the hips or crossed in front of the chest. The other goal that one needs to achieve is good form in the single leg squat or lunges. In this video, we have only expounded on the phase 1 and phase 2 of the rehab. Phase 3 of an ACL rehab is very complicated, and maybe orthopedic surgeons can't do enough justice to phase 3 of ACL rehab. It is best left to the hands of experts like sports and exercise specialists and physiotherapists. But for most people, ACL rehab would actually end at phase 2. Phase 3 and further exercises are actually meant for people with serious athletic aspirations.